Shai Gilgeous-Alexander celebrated his MVP award with a big performance, and Oklahoma showed their size advantage to take a 2-0 lead, but now the series shifted to Minnesota for Game 3. On the other hand, Minnesota, already in a tough spot, had to flip the momentum at home no matter what, since losing Game 3 would basically mean their season was over. No lineup changes. SGA, who blew up anyone guarding him in Game 2. Minnesota came out with their most desperate energy of the season, as Julius Randle used his physical edge against Jalen Williams and knocked down back-to-back fadeaway jumpers. For Minnesota to win, Randle really had to come alive. On the flip side, Oklahoma's broken three-point shooting became an early issue, and Edwards, aggressive since Game 2,
Gilgeous-Alexander tips it, race for the ball, still alive. Edwards comes up with it, wide open for the slam.
Followed his hustle with a monster dunk. It was still early, but Minnesota's start looked really sharp. SGA tried to answer with a bucket, but his driving layup right after didn't fall, and Edwards' jumper looked deadly tonight. He drilled another three and already hit double digits.
That's a massive shine for Anthony Edwards.
Edwards knocks it away from Dort, and this time just gently throws it down.
Then stole a pass from Dort for an easy dunk. Minnesota was doing to OKC what OKC usually does, forcing turnovers, and suddenly their lead grew to the biggest of the series. Even at home, nobody saw this coming. To make it worse, OKC even blew an alley-oop after a timeout, though Reed did get a piece of it. And SGA looked rattled by the heavy boos.
Gobert helping out defensively, knocks it loose, another steal for Gobert, driving down the lane and he's fouled.
He even gave up a soft steal to Gobert, which was huge since Gobert hadn't been much of a factor all series, and fired up, he added his signature putback. That's exactly the kind of play they need from Gobert. Meanwhile, OKC's three-point shooting stayed broken, as Edwards poured in 15 points in just the first quarter. OKC players looked lost and even committed an 8-second violation, and the gap between the two stars was clear. OKC's 14 points in the first was their playoff low this year, as if things couldn't get better for Minnesota. Shannon Jr. came in and played way above expectations. His dad once led the Korean League in scoring. OKC tried to fight back by forcing a turnover, showing off their biggest strength for once, but they killed momentum with a silly moving screen foul. Minnesota's suffocating rotation defense was incredible.
Getting extended minutes here. Williams has it knocked away. Another turnover. Here's Shannon. Goes. Caruso lays it up and in. Shannon off the bench with 7 points and 3.
Shannon Jr.'s nonstop energy off the bench stood out. At this point, he looked like the X factor of the game. He walked to the bench with the crowd going wild. For OKC, now down by more than 20, the painful part was that SGA was almost invisible. Meanwhile, nearly every Minnesota player stepped up, and they gave OKC no chance to come back. Even Conley and Reed, who'd been inconsistent, both stepped up, while SGA's first-half play made you question his MVP status. He even traveled, maybe feeling Gobert's presence. It's rare to see SGA struggle this much. Late in the quarter, he finally woke up a little and got to the free throw line for the first time. The crowd showered him with free throw merchant boos. Even Alexander Walker, usually quiet, chipped in some points, and Minnesota kept the lead at double digits. The home team kept showing relentless energy, as Edwards, saving his legs, drained a pull-up.
Only 3 turnovers. Randle the spin, Randle the finish. Another timeout.
And Randle added a bucket inside after a quiet stretch, stretching the lead past 30. Even with Minnesota desperate, this was shocking. SGA's first-half stats. Minnesota broke their playoff record for most first-half points, and the gap grew to almost unbelievable numbers, Anthony Edwards completely taking over. This was easily OKC's worst playoff game so far. Still, being the playoffs, they couldn't just quit, so they started Isaiah Joe instead of Hartenstein. That meant sacrificing size for better spacing. OKC's offense started to free up a bit.
Held down, 5 on 4 right now. Dort tries high arcing three. That's good. Lou Dort knocks it down, and Chris Finch wants a timeout.
And Dort's fast break three helped them chip away. With plenty of time left, it wasn't over yet. Minnesota couldn't relax either. But with SGA still looking flat,
Edwards drives, goes inside, reverse! Sensational play from Anthony Edwards.
Edwards killed the run with a crazy double clutch layup. Honestly, that was the highlight of the night. That play snapped OKC's comeback hopes.
Back. Edwards got a three. Anthony Edwards now at 25.
And Edwards attacked Hartenstein's size with ease, keeping the lead at 30 without much trouble. Even if they lost, OKC needed to at least cut the margin, but Edwards handled double teams with smart passes, while SGA's free throws came way too late. And Jalen Williams didn't change much either. Gobert with the block. With both of OKC's stars struggling, the team collapsed, while Randle, breaking free from his last nightmare game.
Third quarter, Randle goes right at SGA, jump shot, it's good. Timeout OKC, the lead's ballooned to third.
Basically crushed OKC's last bit of hope. Coach Daigneault saw no point in keeping starters in, and pulled them out with time still left. All Minnesota had left to do was celebrate with more buckets, and Edwards jawing with Dort.
That arc is very consistent.
Edwards long three-pointer, it's good! Anthony Edwards
Sealed it with a dagger three to end the night. At this point, OKC looked like they paid to lose. With OKC's starters long gone, Edwards pulling up over three defenders, Minnesota showed no mercy, leaving some starters in as Randle played happy basketball, letting it all out. The game was over, but finding his rhythm still mattered. But the player who really stood out to me here was Shannon Jr., just like in the first half. His scoring spark made the vets smile. Even though Ingles didn't play, Minnesota still crushed OKC by 42, escaping what could have been a quick playoff exit. Between Shannon Jr.'s energy, Edwards' scoring explosion, and more, the most impressive thing was their defense on SGA. Sure, part of it was him being off, but he only got 4 free throws, one of his go-to weapons, and his 14 points were a season low. Of course, the rest of the series won't all look like this, but tonight, Minnesota proved they've got real firepower.
And Gilgeous-Alexander tonight.
You want me to tell you?
He didn't have as good of a game.
We were a little cleaner around him with, didn't foul.